Hey guys, it's Paige at Comfort Books, and I'm here to do my August wrap-up. I can't believe I'm wrapping up August right now, because I was just talking about how I didn't want August to be over because that means school was starting. Oh dear lord, it's crazy, and it's Tuesday, August 27th right now, so I'm filming this a little bit early, but school starts tomorrow, so I'm gonna be pretty busy. And so I don't know if I'm going to have time to either finish any more books or even film up them if I do. So I'm going to film the ones I have read now, and if I happen to finish any more, I'll add them on later. So the first book I read was an ebook, and it was Lethal Inheritance by Tahlia and Newland. And that is something I've been trying to get through for a while, actually, because I've set up so many different dates for the vlog tour, and every time I either had issues with I couldn't finish it because I didn't have enough time, or my iPad broke at one point, and that my iPad is what I read my ebooks on. So when my iPad broke, I couldn't read it anymore, so that was a problem. And then I finally got my iPad back, and then I just re-downloaded the book and just started fresh and read it. And it ended up being really good. Wasn't completely amazing, but it was good enough for me to want to read the second book. And so I have the second, and I think the third book, and possibly even the fourth book, I'm not exactly sure. So I'll read them at some point, I just don't know when. And then I read for my short story Sunday, or my mini review Sunday thing that I do on the blog now and then, I read Runner, The Runners Part 1 by Logan Rutherford. This is actually a short story series that Logan Rutherford put on Amazon a while back. They're not there anymore because they're being redone, because he published these, I think, when he was 16. And he's 18 now, so we took them off Amazon, and I think he's just revamping them to make them more, because when I read Runners, I was like, wow. I was like, it's interesting, but there's a lot of typos and a lot of mistakes, so they took them off, and now they're redoing them. I don't know if I'm going to reread the first one. I might, it depends. If it comes back in a bind-up, I'll read the first one. I don't know what happens, but anyway, then the first physical book that I read was The Beautiful and the Cursed by Paige Morgan. I was an ambassador this month, and so I read this. Last time I was an ambassador, I didn't have time because I had so many other review books, so I didn't read the book I was an ambassador for, which is kind of defeats the purpose. But this time I was like, I got a beautiful copy, I am so reading it so I can tell everybody how amazing it is, so I read it like that, and it was such a good book. I loved it. I was a little bit afraid because it's set in, I think, Paris, something like that. It's set in a different country back in the past, in the 1800s. So I was a little bit scared. I was like, oh no, am I gonna enjoy this? But it ended up being really good. And look at this cover. It's so pretty. And in the back, it's so purple. I love it. It's just so awesome. And then the next book that I finally finished was Losing Elizabeth by Tanya J. Peterson. You guys have probably seen, well, you guys probably don't remember it, but a while back, almost a year ago, or actually it probably was a year ago, I got this for review, and I started it as soon as I got it because it's a pretty thin book, but it's about abuse. It's about a girl she's a junior in high school, and she gets a boyfriend. This girl, the main character Elizabeth, gets a boyfriend, and he's abusive, mentally and physically. So the whole thing was about her dealing with his abuse and finally, I don't want to spoil it, but just dealing with his abuse. And so it was a tough book to get through because every page there was literally some kind of abuse, and it was like, what the hell? But like, it was a good book. I liked it, but it was hard to get through because it's hard to read through the abuse. It was just hard to take the abuse because, you get close to the characters and you don't want to see them get abused, you know what I mean? So it was hard to get through this, but it ended up being a really good story, and I'm glad I read it. So the review for the first 3 books, no. The reviews for the last 3 books I just showed you are all up. Lethal Inheritance isn't up yet because I haven't, yeah, it is up, I lied. It went up August 19th or something like that. Or September 10th? No, it's not even September yet. What am I talking about? I don't know. I'll leave everything below. Then the next book I read was, it was another ebook. It was A Tale of Two Centuries by Rachel Harris. And if you guys know, last year I read My Super Sweet 16th Century as an arc, and I loved it. It was so freaking amazing. So when I heard that, and then I'm a part of Rachel Harris's Street Team Flirt Squad, so obviously we've been all updated on when all our books are coming out. So I recently read her adult book, A Taste of Heat, and that was good. So when A Tale of Two Centuries came out, I was like, yes, I'm so signing up for an arc, and I got it. And I didn't read it as quickly as I read her other books, but that's because I was reading other review books. But I ended up finishing it this month, and it was so good. I loved it. I have to say I loved it even more than I loved her first book, just because of things that happened in the ending. So it was amazing, and I loved it. Next 3 books I finished are all physical books. I finished Unfed by Kirsty McKay. This is the sequel to Undead. It's about a group of teenagers who are on a bus, and, well, the first book, they're on a bus, and then they're on a field trip, and the school bus stops at some place to get food, and everybody turns into zombies, except for this handful of kids. So, and they're trying to fight the zombies and stay alive, and so that's what book 1 is about, and then book 2 is basically just about them thrown back into the zombie world and trying to survive again. So, it ended up being really good. I read through it faster, because the first book, I don't know why the first book, but the first book took me a while to read. I think it was just because it was just so much of the same thing. Like, it was so much of, zombies, run, tuck cover, you know? So, it took me a little bit, but this book was interesting. I enjoyed it. I mean, the beginning was, the main character spent a good part of the book running around in her underwear. So, I mean, it was entertaining. And then, so every book I've read this month has been a review book, except for Runner. Yeah, every book I've read this month has been a review book. That's crazy. I did good. I did good on my review pile. Next book I read is Abandoned by Meg Cabot. Now this is partly a review book, partly not, because I bought this with my own money, and it is on my TBR shelf, but there's this mega reader type thing going on still. I'll leave all the links below. I can't remember the names of the blogs that are doing them right now, but every year they do this whole Meg Cabot event, and so they noticed that I got this in one of my hauls, so they were like, oh, do you want to review Abandoned, since it's the first book in her trilogy for the Meg Cabot thing? And I was like, sure. So my date is September 10th, I think, something like that. And yeah, so I'm excited to put my review up when it comes, because it was hard to get into, I must say. It was hard to get into. The beginning was slow, and the flashbacks were kind of annoying, because you didn't know when you were in a flashback, or you know when you enter the flashback, but even though it was randomly, it was just thrown at you, but you didn't know when you were out of it, and you didn't know, like, what the hell was happening in the flashback. It was annoying. But by the end, I was into it, and I'm excited for book 2. And the last book that I finished last night, was another review book, The Lake House by Marci Nault. I finished this, like I said, last night, and oh my god, this book was amazing. I just put my review up on Amazon and Goodreads, and oh my god, it's about an older woman named Victoria who she grows up in this, like, little tight-knit community of like, elderly, well, not elderly, because she just grows up in a tight-knit community with her family. And when she becomes a teenager, she realizes that she wants to go out and she wants to live her dreams, live her life how she wants to, not how everybody else wants her to. So, I'm so not in the whole world right now. I'm just thinking about how amazing it was. I don't even know what to say. So yeah, she runs away from her community, and she becomes an actress and blah, blah, blah. And then finally, when she's, like, an old lady, like, she's in her 80s or 70s, and she comes back, and her family is like, what? No, you can't come back. You ran away from us. You didn't want us, so goodbye. But she stays, and she, like, tries to make amends, and that's what the book's about. And then there's also this 28-year-old Heather, who she's obviously young, and she's successful, but she's engaged, but she's not happy with her fiancé, so she divorces him, or she doesn't divorce him, they're not married. She breaks up with him, and she moves to a house that was abandoned right next to Victoria. And so the community's like, no, what the heck are you? This is a community passed down generations through generations, you're not even a part of the family, so what do you get at? Basically. And so it's basically Victoria and Heather's struggle to get the community to let Victoria back in and let Heather in. Like, because she's new. But this book was so amazing. That description was awful, because I was just so thinking about the book, I wasn't even thinking about the description. But I trust me. Oh god, I'm so awful. And I'm not editing any of this out, because I don't know how, so just, sorry. Trust me, this book is amazing and you should definitely check it out. So yeah, that's everything I finished this month so far. I'm hoping to at least finish possibly one more book, but I kind of doubt it because school starts tomorrow and who knows how busy I'm going to be. But it's already 10 minutes, so I gotta go. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Hey guys, it's Paige at Cover Books. I just wanted to pop in real quick and add on to the my August wrap-up because I finished one more book, thankfully, before the end of August. And that was The Paradox of Vertical Flight by Emil Ostrovski. I probably just butchered that name really badly, but I received this for review from Harbertine, which is, I think it's Harbertine. I don't have the business card that I got on me, but I received this for review, and it was such a good book. I loved it. Definitely 5 out of 5 stars. It was touching, it was funny, it was so amazing. So if you ever get a chance to pick up this book, definitely pick up this book, because it was amazing. So yeah, I think I'm going to end up doing a review on this on YouTube. I'll figure something out. But yeah, that's everything I finished this month. Thanks for watching. Bye.